Mike, man, we just really want to say thank you for coming on the show today. You know what I mean? Really, really do appreciate it. You know, for those who don't know, this is Deacon Michael Kodua. You know what I mean? Very, very, very happy to have you. You know what I mean? Very, very happy to have you.
God bless you.
So, like, we wanted to talk to you about, well, obviously you're deacon, so we don't want to just keep it just strictly on religion or Christianity or anything of that type. But, I had a question, and I thought you would be one of the great people to ask is, what is the current state of, like, religion in the UK at the moment?
Okay, so it's still around, but there's a lot of it's a lot of business aspects that's been put into it right now. A lot of people are in it for the business, and it's kind of hard to find somewhere that is really a spiritual place to worship. If you guys know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scrutiny and a lot of judgments upon different churches, and it makes people quite scared about what church to go to. So it's religion is still around. A lot of people rely on religion or believe in something or some higher being. So a lot of these ministers play into that, and they feed off people and to get what they want, basically. So that's what it is right now, basically.
Okay, now that's interesting. That's interesting. So it's like to say that like there's a lot of non-genuine churches out there to say like.
Yeah, of course. You have to be very careful where you're going to, and for me myself, I always say that if you're going to go to a place, you have to actually know your Bible and not just go there to listen to what someone's going to say to you. Actually go home and study what you're learning or what you're being taught.
Yeah. Sorry, Michael. I know you just mentioned about church being a business. Do you feel as if a lot of people nowadays, not just sort of older people, but especially the younger generation, especially in the UK and London, wherever, do you feel as if we actually take the time out to dedicate not just the 2 hours in church every Sunday, but the rest of our week to learning the Bible, prayer, all these type of things? Because I feel as if for me personally, there's so much out there distracting you from actually learning about the Bible, actually dedicating that time to God. So I mean, why is it a business now? Why do you feel as if people are taking advantage of others in church? I mean, it's a place where we go to find the truth, right? So why do you feel as if a lot of people are taking advantage of people?
Because people know that, as I said before, people are in search of a higher power or worshipping a higher being. And it's like if someone that knows of the faith, or I'm not talking just about my faith, but of maybe different faiths. If someone knows a bit about a faith or a particular faith, and they know that they can manipulate someone's mind into getting what they want, they're going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what the business aspect comes out, because I've known people that have gone into church and gone into pastoring in church, and they're just all about the money. So and them churches didn't stand for long, because the true essence of the church, or true mandate of the church, was not there. If you're just going in there to make money, it's not going to stand.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting you said it. I mean, what's your take on, for example, Spak Nation? Let's say that's it's been a big deal this year. Very big. I'm not sure if the guys in the studio know about Spak Nation.
Spak Nation, what is that?
Spak Nation is this how you say it's out. it's hard to even describe what they're like, but they're a church which basically promote a load of, well, they promote Jesus, but they promote him in what I like to say a very worldly type of way. So I don't know if you've ever heard of gospel trap music.
Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about that. Well, basically, hey Michael, what are you saying is quite. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this group out there called Hope Dealers.
Yeah, they're from that
Yeah,
church.
of course. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
I've
think,
known us.
yeah, they're promoting like the lavish lifestyle and all of that, and I
Yeah.
think that's trying to attract the youth to come to like their church and stuff like that, which in turn
But I've
could.
heard something. That the main guy's gone back to prison.
Oh, is it?
What do you mean the main guy?
Yeah.
The main guy from the group, or the main guy
The
from
one that you know the song that's a hit now or something.
Trap
I
Mash.
don't know what it's called.
Trap Mash.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy that sings the chorus, he's gone back to prison.
TK.
Yeah, for murder charge.
Oh wow,
What?
that's a bit of a.
I thought
Are you serious?
that was prior to him doing that. The whole.
Yeah, but apparently this is not me speaking, but this is what I've heard is that he apparently did a testimony with the pastors on Periscope or something like that.
Oh, you know
And the
what?
police have
I've
used
seen
that as evidence.
I've seen that. I've watched it. Very
And
interesting.
the police have used that as evidence against him.
Oh, I thought it was a case prior to him doing like the Hope Leaders thing.
Yeah, and it wasn't. That's what I've heard. That it was like they fought the case back or something. But from what I know, that he's gone back to prison. Or he's gone into prison.
All right.
So
do you think like that's kind of tarnished the whole move of gospel trap music? I mean, like I don't know.
I think yeah, God can use anything in this world to get His message out, but there's a big but. It's the message that is coming out that will confuse people. I don't have anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with drill, gospel, but then it's the message that's coming out. And when listening to these talented young gentlemen on the song, they're very talented, but then the messages they're putting out are very confusing.
Yeah.
If you see like in the video,
I have nothing wrong with the music. I have nothing wrong with God use drill, because the same argument was put by rap when people using rap gospel. The same argument was put across. I have nothing wrong with it, but then it's the message that's going out there.
So, what would you say the message is? I mean, like, somewhat. I think you hear some of their bars. It is quite, how would you say?
Yeah.
It's
aggressive.
Yeah,
I'm not listening to gospel traps. I'm not too familiar with what they come out with, to be honest. But I think anything, to be honest, associated with rap will probably be looked upon negatively. But I think you're right. The messages, I'm assuming the messages are, to do with wealth.
It's very confusing,
right?
Because you're using the Bible as in your hands, and then you're using it like a gun. You put it to the camera as a gun. That's a bit confusing. There's a lot of, I can't quote them.
But to play devil's advocate, it's like they're using the Bible as their weapon. Do you think that they're using the Bible as their weapon instead of like a gun?
Of course, they're using it as a weapon.
As a weapon for, would you say for protection or something else, or a deeper meaning, or?
Yeah, they're using it as a weapon of protection. But then, why would you point the Bible as a gun to the camera?
That's a good point. I don't know why they do that.
It's a brave thing to do, but yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I think it's a weapon. Like, it's my weapon. But then I wouldn't go and point it at So, for example, Francis, I wouldn't come to you. You've done me something wrong. Would I come to you and point the Bible in your face and use it as a gun?
No, most certainly not. Most certainly not. No.
There's a negative connotation that comes with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is a weapon. It's a weapon. It's my weapon. But then I wouldn't come to it's a spiritual weapon.
I mean, do you feel as if that comes with the younger generation being a bit confused about religion in itself? Because,
Yes.
you know, I think sometimes when you go to different churches, you know, you're taught different things, and I think people come into churches with their own perception already. So, you know, I think what they're doing is they're trying to sort of use things that would be attractive to us, such as, you know, rap and, you know, all the worldly stuff that, you know, Francis mentioned, and trying to use that and trying to manipulate that so they bring in more people. Would you agree to that? Or?
Of course. Which is, for me, I think is a great thing.
Yeah.
But as I'm saying again, it's the messages you're putting out. I have no problem of the way people bring people into church. I have no problem. If it's with drill music, it's fine, but it's the message. If you're too on material or money or I don't know, when they say all that stuff, that, like, if you listen to drill music now, if someone says I found this out the other day, that's like something to do with hurting someone or something like that.
Wow.
But you're screaming that on a drill gospel tune, it's a bit confusing. So I am standing on the drill music. I have nothing wrong with it. The scripture says God uses the ways of the world to conflict the wise. So if God can use music to make everything, his message come out, he can do that. But then it's about the messages you're putting out.
Yeah, I think some people just do it so they can have their platform to really shine as well, because you know, a lot of the messages you mentioned are negative messages, but they're thinking of it as in, if I can release this track in a good way, which is for religion or for Christianity, I'm gonna have a platform then, and people are gonna know me, whether it's a bad message, a good message. So people are using it as a supposedly a good thing, but people who don't know religion, you know, will be confused by it. Do you know what I mean? Because you only know what I'm telling you. If that makes sense.
Because the other day, I'm not gonna lie, I saw a billboard, like a kind of 2018 billboard of who's done well and who's not done well in drill or rap or whatever.
Okay.
And I saw the Hope Dealers on the same billboard. For me, that wasn't right, because their type of music is not the same type of music as these guys. But they're yet in the same billboard as all the other drill guys.
All right, so there's no clear distinction to say, oh, this is
because it's a different type of genre.
This guy's is drill.
There's no distinction.
Would you say what they're doing is like a marketing thing? Because when you mix like the gospel with the drill, people already see that as controversy anyway, and people naturally drawn to controversy, so they're gonna look at what they want.
They want the eyes. They want the eyes on them.
So do you think personally it was like a marketing move? The Hope Dealers doing that?
I hope not. And I can't say that, but it's a good thing they're doing. But it's the messages you're putting out. I believe it's a good thing that they're doing, but it's the message you're putting out there.
Here's a question I'd like to ask. Do you think it's wrong to put out the message of I have money, get money, where it concerns Christianity? Like,
no, it's not. It's a good thing. I think it's a good thing, but you have to remember that it's not your money. It's God's money. If you say you're getting money, fine, but then you're not getting money for yourself. It's not your money. It's God's money. If you give all thanks to God and keep giving thanks to God, there's nothing wrong with that. But then if you're giving all ownership onto yourself, that it's your money, getting money, and it's all me, then God will take it out of your hands quickly.
Yeah, or don't let money blind the fact that there are other reasons to go to church as well.
Exactly.
But I mean, do you feel as if like these false promises, they sort of draw the younger people in, and when they find out it's not as easy as it sounds, that's what sort of makes them begin to leave church and begin to leave religion altogether?
Yeah.
Because you're trying to advertise a certain thing. So if you come to this church, you know, you'll get money, you'll be like myself, you'll have a nice car, nice house, but I think ultimately the message behind Christianity is, it's charity, it's love, it's, you might suffer, but you will get there in the end. But I think,
Yeah,
as you said, some of these messages are saying, you know what, come here, instantly things will change. And I think when they go and realize that things don't change overnight, that's when they begin to lose a bit of faith and say, you know what, it's not worth it.
yeah, yeah. I think that's what they're doing over there because I've been on Twitter for the last couple days, and I've just seen people that are like coming out, people that have been there, and they're just sharing their story about how it really is and all of that.
Mm.
And they're saying a lot of the stuff that you've just said, like they feed you a game or they feed you something, but it's not really true, and then they're asking you to do a lot of stuff which I don't know is right, taking out loans and stuff like that, but
Right.
that's a whole different story.
All I'd like to ask, bro, is do you think with the current state of Christianity, whereas you have, let's say, Spak Nation, the Hope Dealers, and I'm sure there's other variations of that, and then you say you have what is considered to be an upstanding, righteous church, how would you say this all kind of impacts the youth? Because the other day I just Googled East London, and immediately what came up on Google was that there was a stabbing in Tower Hamlets. And then I Googled North London, and that's all I put in Google. And then there was a stabbing in Tottenham, and the person actually died in hospital. How would you say, let's say, Christianity can help with such a situation we're having? I think there's well over 120 people which have died this year, from such activities in London alone. So how would you say all of Christianity could help with this?
It's kind of a contradictory thing because what Spak is doing right now is an awesome thing. So it's kind of a vice versa. From what I see in churches right now, they need to do a bit of what Spak is doing.
When you say
if they carry on the same principles as they have, and they are, and actually go into their communities and stop thinking about the four walls in the church, go into their actual communities and do stuff in their communities, a lot of this stuff will stop happening.
Right, so I mean, because I know that I've been part of churches where they say they're doing community outreach, and I've just never ever seen it before. I don't know if any of you guys in the studio.
No, not really, to be honest.
Because I've just.
That's why I said they need to do a lot of what Spak is doing.
I mean, do you know?
Which is going in.
Yeah, sorry, go on, Michael.
Which I'm saying, like Spak, what they're doing is an awesome thing, but then it is the message that is coming out. I don't know because I've never been there, so I don't know what message they're putting out.
Right.
So it's a great thing. Someone said to me, quote, the enemy, the devil, knows how wise you are. So he's not going to tell you to go and murder someone. He's going to tell you to do something good that you think you're doing is good. That doesn't correlate with the word. So you're going to carry on doing what is good, but it's not correlating with the word.
That's rather interesting. That's definitely rather interesting. So what would you say? I mean, like in the studio amongst the lads, drifting away slightly from church, Richard says that he doesn't have the Christmas feeling.
Yeah, I think it's been a bit of a lack this year. I think it's sort of approached us pretty fast, and it's about to disappear again. To be honest, I don't know. I know you mentioned, we had a little chat prior to this conversation right now. You mentioned that a lot of people will sort of come to church on Christmas, and they'll pay their respects and stuff. But I think for the rest of the year, they're pretty absent. Why do you feel as if people make the effort to come at this time of year as they do?
For a gift.
Right.
For a gift.
Yeah, well, I know it's a big, it's a big occasion. It's the message behind Christmas. But what makes, there's got to be more to it. There's got to be more to you wanting to come to church than just it being Christmas or Easter. Why do people not come for the rest of the year? Why do you think people not come for the rest of the year?
Because they
It's a
don't
bit of a
feel
difficult
that
question.
there's anything in the church for them to come to, and um, there's no. It's a hard one.
Yeah,
To be honest, everyone wants to go to church when it's lit. That's what it is. Everyone wants to go to church when there's a lot of people around and stuff like that. I don't. Maybe it's a people thing.
That's what I was saying. Like, we have to look at it as in, church nowadays, it's not just about what you go and do for 2 hours on a Sunday. It's got to be, it's a way of life. It's not a social club, and I think we've lost that. We've lost that. We've lost that message, I guess. It's all of us can go to church every Sunday, but what are we doing, Monday to Friday at work or with our friends? Or do you know what I mean? What decisions are we making then?
What I can say is some people go out and then they don't wake up for church the next morning. But when they know it's like an important, like, Christmas time, like, that's when they like, yeah, I'm gonna wake up and go to church.
It is, but it's like, but why is it that day? Why is it not the previous Sundays?
Do you know what I think it is? I think it's the what's in it for me factor.
Okay.
Like when it's Christmas, New Year's, New Year's Eve or Easter, there's what's in it for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. People want to start off the year right. Like, people want to, because you're in the middle of the year, like the whole, like, bulk of the year, you'll think, oh, I'm not going to check, I can't bother with all of that. Okay. But when it comes to, like, New Year's Eve, and it's like, yeah, I need to start the year right, so I'm gonna go to church, and, like, hopefully this year works out for me.
It's right, but at the same time, it's it's what we ask for God, but at the same time, it's what we putting into it.
Yeah, that's true.
So I can ask God, 1st of January, okay, I want to have a really good year, but what am I doing throughout the rest of the year to help God help me? If that makes sense. So am I being faithful? Am I committed to church? Am I committed to reading the Bible every day? Am I committed to do good things? You can't just be, okay, I'm going to church to ask something good, but I'm not going to put in the effort to get that reward from him.
Relationship.
Yeah, exactly. And we're missing that nowadays. I think for the younger people, I admit as well, a lot of time is consumed on social media with other things that we think is important, but we're missing that real, I've got to put in work in with God as well. He can't just do everything for me. He's not a magician. It's a two-way thing.
Yeah. It's interesting, because God can also bless you without you having to actually do absolutely nothing. Why? Because He's God.
That's a point.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I've always kind of seen that with some people. You think, man, what has this person done to deserve this blessing, or to somehow, like, avoid certain types of sicknesses? But then this good person has lived their life right, gone to church 354 Sundays in a year, but they're dying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, God doesn't need me or you or anybody to do anything for God, because God is God. And God is more than the one who created the whole world, needs you to do something for Him? I think not.
No.
You see what I'm saying? But I think like we've rightly established, is more the relationship factor. You see what I'm saying? Whereas I definitely feel like, if we use real life terms, like, I would do anything for my wife because she's my wife. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's that relationship. Whereas if someone is just maybe associate, you're not gonna go the extra mile for an associate the same way you do someone who is your family, or somebody who is a dear friend of yours, kind of thing. And I feel like for sure people are using God as a, let's say, a cash point.
Okay.
Like, when you need money in your wallet, you go to the cash point and you get something out of it. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas you should really be looking at God as a father. A father you love, a father you respect, somebody who you're constantly communing with on a day-to-day basis. Like, not because you need something or want something, but just because you want to check in.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. You mentioned the father thing as well, which is what Michael touched on at the start. People are going to these churches because they're being told something. So our father will say to you, okay, look, you want a bit of money, okay, I can't give that to you today, Richard, because you've not been good. It's not what we want to hear, but sometimes it's for our own good.
Yeah.
But some people want to be told yes, yes, yes all the time. But again, it's not just about going to cash point and taking out what you want, because sometimes you go to cash point and there's nothing in it.
There's that
Do
too.
you know what I mean? So it's the message of saying, okay, look, life can be tough at times, but as your dad, I'll always be here for you. If you need advice, money, whatever it is, but you have to accept it's not going to be a yes all the time. And some people live their lives and thinking, well, church is a place I can go to when I want something and I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But we don't accept the fact that it's going to be difficult at times, and we don't accept the fact that we have to work in life as well, because we don't do our jobs and not get paid for it. Because we go to work to get paid, right, to feed our families and stuff. So, you know, to go to God and to demand things as the way we do nowadays, I don't feel as if it's the right thing, because, as you said, as a father figure, you know, sometimes you'll be told no, it's not what you want to hear, but it's for your own good at times.
Yeah.
You won't understand it right now, but maybe in 10 years' time, that's when you really get the message and say, oh, Dad was actually right back then to tell me no, because I needed that. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
Of course. You know,
Yeah.
it's all very interesting. I mean, like, coming from the background we've kind of come from, being dragged to church as young kids, you know, and
eating crisp at the back,
talking,
Ribena,
Ribena, and all of that, Capri Suns and whatnot, and Michael's reliving all of that because he's got kids. You know?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. You know, but I guess there's a lot I would say we can all do individually, in the faith of Christianity, and then as well as that collectively. You know, I've always kind of been the person to say, you know what, instead of looking outside of your door for people to reach out to, start reaching out at home. You know, and home doesn't necessarily mean the people within your four corners, but people you have access to. You know, and I feel like if we did more of that, like, you know, being our brother's keeper, you know, as the scripture tells us to be, you know, we would go a longer way in, you know, kind of building that type of bond. I mean, when you look at the Muslims, right, there's something I admire a lot about them is no matter what mosque you go to or where you are in this world, a brother is a brother. Fact. You know, but with us, if you're on the other side, you know, and your church could be just across the road, you're somewhat of an enemy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you have Baptists and Methodists and
all kinds of denominations,
bishops and all that.
All kinds of things, right? It's crazy.
Protestants and Catholics.
It's wild, and they all don't like each other for one reason or the other. You know,
but on the flip side, you have Sharia and you have what's the other one?
Sunni, innit?
Sunni and the other one. Sunni and what's the other one?
Shiite, right? Is it Sunni and
Shiite and Sunni. So that's on the flip side.
Yeah, but it's not. You know, it is like as deep as that is, because I know that does get quite crazy, right? But like, at least there isn't like 5 to 10.
They be killing people, yo.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, people also forget. You know what I mean? The killings have also been going on in Christianity. It's also there.
If you go to Ireland,
we just don't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's definitely going on. But like, the point I wanted to make was that if I'm in a mosque in East London and I go to a mosque in North London, it's the same love.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, even when they, you know, they don't know you from Adam, you know what I mean, and they meet you somewhere, it's the same love. They'll give the clothes off their back for you because you're their brother. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a different type of love. But if someone in your church needed £5 to get a Oyster card topped up, you would pray for them instead of giving money. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like,
it's true though. It's very true. What you're saying.
It's a totally different type of love. I think we show, and which makes me ask the question, Deacon. Do you think that we're good at receiving love from God, but then bad at exhibiting that love to one another?
Yes.
You would agree?
I totally agree.
Straight up.
Because in the scripture it says, how can you say you love the person you do not see, but then the person you see, you don't love?
Yeah. No, that's fact.
I think a lot of time, you know. Sorry, go on, Michael.
Because like you see it every day of our lives, and I know you guys see it every day. What was it? A couple of weeks ago, I was with my son walking in Leighton, and then we see, like, during these times, Christmas time, you see a lot of churches going out to, like, shopping centre areas and giving out leaflets and handing out invitations to churches and stuff. So me and my son was walking, and we saw a lady begging on the street, and my son said, "I'm going to give her some money." I was like, "Fine, yeah, go ahead." But then right next to her, we saw a lady handing out leaflets to a church. And I was just thinking to myself, that's a bit contradictory, because you're telling people to come to your church, but then you got a beggar right next to you.
It's true. I mean, it's interesting, right? Because I've always looked at that kind of same scenario there and said, you know what? Shouldn't the outreach be more meeting that person's need?
Exactly. It might not be finding a house for them, a five bedroom house for them. No, but whatever they need on that specific day to have them comfortable should be fine.
It's interesting because sometimes I question where the resources of the church actually goes.
We keep saying, I don't know, like, we do take a lot of money, don't we? Someone's eating the money, I think.
That's a whole different story.
I think we try to get out, we're trying to get our message of, we do care about people, etc. But I think what we have to just touched upon is that, we're not willing to make that sacrifice, I suppose, which Jesus made for us, really, for nothing in return. But I think for us lot, we always want something in return. So, okay, I'll sacrifice something for you, but what am I going to get out of it as well? I think a lot of times it's things like envy that hold us back, to be honest. We'll say we'll support someone, but I think deep down, we're envious of them. We're hoping that they don't make it, It's not a good trait to have, to be honest. Look, we're human beings, so if someone's doing well at something, you're happy for them, but you're thinking, what if I was in that position? And I think in today's day and age, it's always about what can I take from it, and that's holding us back, to be honest.
It really holding us back. It really is. I mean, there's so much, I would say, so much love to be given out there, and equally so much love to be received. And I feel like the absence of love plays a key kind of role here, whereas some folks would say, well, you didn't show me that type of love when I was on that struggle, so when I get there, I'm also gonna shut those doors. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
you're right. That's what Michael was going to ask. I mean, Francis touched upon Muslims and about the way they conduct themselves, and how far they're willing to go for each other. I mean, why do you feel as if compared to Muslims, Christians, would you say we're a bit more lenient in our religion, sort of day to day? Do you feel as if we? I know they're very consistent. Hi, Michael, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear now?
Yeah, sorry about that. So I was going to ask, do you feel as if, compared to Muslims, that we're very lenient in our religion, that we don't really sort of go that extra miles? I know they're very consistent in terms of going to the mosque every week. Do you feel as if we make those same sort of commitments that they do, or are we as committed as they are to their religion?
No, we're not. As I have a lot of, I've come from family that are Muslim, and I have a lot of friends that are Muslim as well. But I see that the Islamic faith is very logic based. It's very what you see is what you get, and there's a lot of laws in place. There's a lot of things to follow. Whereas Christianity, Jesus came and did away with sin, so that we may be able to see the Father. So in Christianity, it's like there is no sin, but there is sin. So people try and get away with things that they are doing now, which they shouldn't be getting away with, because the law is still there within Christianity. Yeah. Whereas in Islam, there is a law. You follow the law or you don't follow the law. Yeah. If you do follow the law, you're good. If you don't follow the law, you can get killed.
Right.
Whereas in Christianity, it's different. It's not that. If you do follow the law, great. If you don't follow the law, great. But then you still have to have some sort of faith. So it's a bit of it's a lot to go into. it's a lot. It's a lot.
Because I see a lot of like so-called pastors, not just in the UK but around the world, who it's like they're making up their religion as they go along, really. Because you've seen some people, I think there was one guy, I think in Ghana recently, who baptized a kid in water and he died because the kid
What?
drowned. Like a Ghanaian pastor recently, he attempted to baptize a young man in a river, and the river eventually ended
Kinda
up
just took the
taking
guy,
that
innit?
kid's life. Yeah,
Yeah, I saw the video. I saw it
and
last Sunday. Yeah.
it's like
Wow.
the problem. I don't know. A lot of people seem to be making up, like you just mentioned, about Muslims and the law. They're following the law, and there's like this sort of fear factor there. Whereas in Christianity, there is a fear factor, but people just seem very comfortable to manipulate that and sort of make it their own. Really, there's no. I don't know. It's like it's we're saying one thing, but again, we're not doing it. Because we've got people who are leading us, and they're brainwashing people. They're saying to these people, "Come to my."
That's
and
the
people,
first thing I said today as well. Yeah.
People don't worship God; they worship the pastor.
The pastor. Yeah.
So they
exactly.
feel like they have a sense of power. I think
Yeah,
they get
yeah.
addicted to that as well.
That's what they want. They want the power, and they want you to come to their church because you're not come for God. You're coming to listen to them every week. Some of these pastors sell out more than Old Trafford. Do you know what I mean? Which is not a joke, to be honest. It's true.
No,
You got
it's
pastors,
true.
you sell out Old Trafford because they come to get something that God can give them, but they don't want to wait for it.
Yeah.
They want
But then
a magician to sort of give it to them overnight. That's the whole problem.
that's what the ignorance is. There's a lot of ignorance around Christianity right now because everybody's gone, as you said, to follow the pastor, but they're not going away to study what they're actually learning.
Yeah.
And if you go away and study, because I'm not going to lie, talking to Francis quite a bit, I'm not going to lie, I've been a Christian, a hardcore Christian for maybe almost 10 years of my life.
Yeah.
Up to about maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, I actually said to myself that I'm actually studying what I actually listen to, and it changed my life completely. And it's opened my eyes to a lot of things, and it's made me cautious about a lot of things that I listen to, and that is a lot of pastors I listen to. So it's a lot about you yourself going away, studying the word, studying whatever you listen to, and guarding your own heart. That's the main thing about Christianity.
Yeah, that's true. But I think people forget to realize that pastors, they're still people too. So they can say the wrong thing, but people will still take it as like the right thing because they're a pastor, so they should know like they don't do no wrong. But they're still people too. So
yeah, it's weird because like you see pastors in Africa, they're literally challenging each other they've got wars to see who's got more power. They say, meet me at a Cross Sports Stadium, and then we can have a face off to see who's got more power.
So meet me at a Cross Sports Stadium.
No, it's like Harry Potter when you're a wizard or something. When you have these, it's ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? It's people. As you mentioned, ignorance. There's people out there who, as you said, they're not taking the time to actually, because you've got pastors sort of, commit adultery in their own churches and stuff, and their congregation actually backs them to do that. Yeah, and I'm thinking, well, if you read your Bible, you can tell it doesn't allow you to do this stuff. So why are you putting up with it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that's the thing, I can't get my head around it, to be honest. I can understand people can get misled and all that sort of stuff, but if you're an adult and you go to church and you're preaching to other people, you have to realize, the basics of it, really, that you can't do these things. But too many people, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's crazy because when I look at this and I say, well, you've got people in positions of power which shouldn't be there. It's like politicians, 100%. Right? You know what I mean? Certain people, you just wonder, how are you a politician? You've just shipwrecked the whole nation, and yet you're still here.
Mismanagement.
And it's the same in the church. And what's crazy is that it's the people within the church which makes the pastor who he is.
Yep.
If all of us leave today, you're a pastor of nobody. You see what I'm saying? And it's that sense of power folks have. Or pastors or deacons or elders, which they use to manipulate the minds of the members in the church. And it goes back to what Michael said. if you're not studying your scripture to know that this guy is telling the truth, or he's veered off from what the Bible itself is saying, then you're already in trouble. You know, sorry to say, you're in big trouble, because you're gonna just, instead of believing what, if we say the Bible is God because it was written or inspired by God, and this guy who is saying he's a man of God is speaking different to what God is saying, but I haven't studied it to know it, I'm in trouble. You know, I'm in big trouble, and they bank on that. And you know, the kind of churches we've all kind of been to, the members are not exactly, how you say, the sharpest tools in the toolbox.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? A lot of them are illiterate, so they can't even read well anyway. You know, certain words they won't research because they haven't taken the time to
It's too
know
big
how.
for them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big word, or they just don't know how to use Google. You know, there's certain small things like that. You know, which if you throw any word into Google, it'll tell you the meaning. It tell you where the origins of that word and things of that type. They just don't know how to do it. So once they've been told, you know, for example, the wages of sin is death, you know, they're gonna listen to you now because you're saying that any type of sin is gonna kill them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's a different thing. And then now you've also got prophets which, you know, have done, because they know how to use Google and stuff, and all your information's out on the web anyway. They're able to Google your address. I know there's this register called 192 register, right? You put someone's address and whatnot in there, it'll tell you who's living in the house. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm a prophet and I know how to use these online tools, I can just tell you, Richard, I see that you have a father and his name is this, and your sister's name is that. But
trying to use that.
Trying to use that to
like they
scare
have
you.
power.
Like they have power and everything.
Yeah.
But all man did was a little bit of research. But because you don't know about that kind of stuff, he's used that to manipulate you, you know, and then tell you, you know what, you need to bring £100, you know what I mean, as a covenant between, you know, you and God. And then the question you have to ask yourself is, after you've given that £100, where does it go?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I always say. Where does this money go? Obviously, he's eating it, isn't he? Because
that's
you know,
the big question right there. Where does the money go? Where does it actually go?
That's a big question.
That's the one that the pastor only knows.
For me, I don't know. I do not know, to be honest, because I'm a deacon in the church, but then I don't make the decisions at all, and I don't see where the money goes. They obviously come and tell us where the money goes, but then there's no breakdown of everything and whatnot. But for me, I don't know, to be honest, from my experience anyway.
Because you know, you look at Ghana, for example. You know, it's just like, you know, the lack of facilities they've got to help people who are ill and stuff. You know, you got some of these pastors who are buying Range Rovers and, you know, Rolls Royces and stuff, and I'm thinking, can't you donate that money to local hospitals?
Let's not even say Ghana, right?
Just Africa.
Let's look at Americans, right? You'll have a whole pastor. I'm not going to mention any names, but let's take any top 5 minister from America alone. Has a mansion the size of what? Has maybe 3 or 4 private jets. Not that you can even fly all of them at once. You get what I mean? You know, it's got this type of car, this, that, and whatnot, and yet still is traveling the world globally, collecting money of people which can barely afford their next meal. There has to be a sense of morality here. You know, there's got to be. I don't know. It breaks my heart sometimes when I genuinely see that, you know, someone has traveled barefoot for miles on end, gets to this place, comes with the little they have, and goes back the same.
And I think it's a mentality of a country, like, it's not just America, but it's prominent over there because America is like a capitalist society. So if they feel like there's any way to make money in like any avenue, whether it's church or anything, they're gonna do it. Like, they're gonna take advantage of you. Like, capitalism is not a joke. Like, it's every man for himself.
Literally.
Like,
literally.
It's a jungle out there, isn't it?
It's like any way you can make money. Trust and believe they're gonna try and make it.
Of course.
I mean, Michael. I mean, in terms of like, how do you feel as if, you know, I know we're pretty young, so like, how do you feel as, you know, if you could give us one piece of advice and to lead, you know, a good lifestyle and to really be strong within our churches, what would that be?
Always accept authority. Always honor hierarchy.
Yeah.
And also always study the word.
Right, yeah. Do you feel as if like, because I think all of us are glued to our phones nowadays, and they do have like applications for like Bibles and all that sort of stuff on there, but it seems as if the clicks go more to Instagram and Snapchat. How can we sort of? I don't know. I think a lot of time it's. Do you feel as if young people feel as if it's boring for Christianity because again we were meant to go to church on Sundays, but throughout the week, are we looking at YouTube sermons? Are we going on these Bible applications on our phones and stuff? We seem to sort of go for the more entertaining route. How can we maybe come more towards religion?
I think that I think it's fine. If it's not taking over your life, then it's fine.
Yeah.
There needs to be a balance, and if it is taking your life over your life, you need to cleanse yourself. So for me, I had to come off Twitter and all of that, Snapchat, all of that, Instagram, because I needed to take my life more seriously, and because I am human, I do seek entertainment, but then I also need to be guarded of my spiritual life, and if my spiritual life is fading, I need to come out of that and cleanse myself. So I did delete all my social media just to realign myself with God's word. So if it's taking over your life, we are human. It does. You need to cleanse yourself.
Yeah. Do you know
that's with football as well?
Do you know what I think it's easier for us to do it? Like all of us we're all in the same age range. I think because we've come up in the era where we didn't have like Instagram, we like the internet wasn't as prominent as it is now. Like for the younger generation, I think they've been born into it, so they're on their phones constantly. Instagram, Snapchat, every 2 minutes. Instagram, Snapchat, like they don't know what it is to be.
Else apart from that.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of easy.
Anything else?
Yeah, so it's kind of easier for us, but I think for the younger generation, this is what they've been born into. So it's like it's gonna be a hard time trying to get them to like come off that type of like their entertainment. That's their type of entertainment. So it's gonna be harder for them to come off of that type of stuff.
I don't think any of them know what a book is anymore.
Yeah.
Nah. The book is the iPad,
Yeah, it was literally.
I feel old now.
I didn't mean to put that out there. No, we're still young. We're still young.
It is one. So like a lot of people would say.
Refuse to grow.
A lot of people would say, you know what? I don't want to be a Christian because I won't be able to have fun. I won't be able to enjoy myself, whatever that is to a person, right? So. How would you say, we can have fun as Christians? What is the right type of fun, or what is deemed as fun? Like, like kind of picture a day out, like how would you kind of structure a whole day out as a Christian guy to have fun?
I'll go back to this. One of the reasons why a lot of people persecuted Jesus was because he was always hanging around with sinners. Yeah. Jesus was always with sinners, but he never changed what he believed. So that speaks in itself. If you can do something and always believe, for example, let's take drinking,
Yeah.
I can be around alcoholics, but I believe that me drinking is not good because it's not good for my temple. So I can hang around with you drinkers or alcoholics or people that drink, but then I believe that I will not drink and I can still hang about with you. People may look at me and say, "Oh, you're an alcoholic," but you can just say to them, "I'm not an alcoholic." Me doing something or being with people, does it determine that I am that person? No, it doesn't, because Jesus always was around people that went opposing to the Jewish faith. So people were always persecuting Jesus.
Yeah.
I believe that if there's something that you want to do, you can do it. But then if it's taking over your life, as I said before, you need to come out of it. You need to always be able to have self-control. If it is opposing to what you believe, don't step in it.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think that's well said. I think that's well put. You
Yeah,
know,
definitely.
Mike, we just want to appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, cheers, Mike.
We really, really, really appreciate it, man. You've just given a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of wisdom to everyone who, you know, is, you know, fortunate enough to be able to tune into this. You know,
Thank you, guys.
where can folks reach you if they wanted to like, get more?
I'm on Twitter. Mikey A Kodua. So it's MikeYAKODUA. So that's my Twitter page.
Great.
If you want to reach me.
That's it. No Instagram, Facebook, any
Same name.
Same name. Cool.
And then
Right.
No, that's what's up. Mike, once again, thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate that, Mike.
For sure, I'm sure this won't be the last time we speak to you. You know. What I mean?
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
So yeah, we'll get with you again.
Yeah, man.
Cheers. Take
Cool.
care.
All right, bless, man. Yo, this is Quabs from Views from the East End, and this is your time to have your say about the conversations that we've just had. So if you have anything to say, just comment in the comment section, comment on Twitter, and all of our social media outlets.